Men, pay attention. When a woman opens up and shares her problems with you, it's a signal that goes deeper than casual conversation. In modern dating, many men misinterpret this as a request for advice, a test of intelligence, or even a moment of sympathy. But Stoicism teaches us a crucial lesson. How you respond to situations, including a woman's vulnerabilities, defines your presence, value, and emotional influence. When she chooses to share her struggles with you, it's a reflection of trust, emotional safety, and connection. This isn't about solving her problems or offering constant guidance. It's about understanding what her openness truly means and how to respond in a way that preserves your composure, demonstrates strength, and subtly communicates your value. Women are drawn to men who remain calm, steady, and confident, especially when faced with emotional complexity. Overreacting, overcompensating, or becoming overly involved signals dependence or instability, which diminishes attraction. In this video, we'll break down 7 key insights into what it means when a woman shares her problems, how to recognize the signals behind her words, and how to respond with stoic confidence that maintains your value and influence. Each section will focus on a different aspect of female psychology, emotional dynamics, and the stoic approach to modern dating. By understanding these principles, you'll not only navigate conversations effectively, but also cultivate deeper attraction and respect without losing composure or authority. Pay close attention. This isn't theoretical advice. It's practical insight for men who want to understand women's behavior, protect their energy, and approach emotional situations with clarity and confidence. How you respond when she shares her problems will either increase her trust and attraction or signal weakness and over-involvement. Knowing the difference is what separates men who attract genuine connection from those who chase approval. 1. She trusts you. The first and most important thing to understand when a woman shares her problems with you is that she trusts you. Trust is not given lightly, especially in the modern dating world where women are often guarded and cautious. If she feels comfortable enough to open up, it signals that she perceives you as reliable, emotionally stable, and someone who won't judge or exploit her vulnerabilities. Men often overlook this and assume that sharing problems is a bid for advice or a test, but at its core, it's a statement of emotional security. She feels safe enough to let you into her inner world. Psychologically, women share problems with men who they perceive as competent and composed. This doesn't mean she sees you as a therapist. She sees you as someone whose presence is steady and whose response will not destabilize her emotionally. A stoic man maintains calm, listens without overreacting, and resists the urge to immediately fix her problems. When you respond with composure, you reinforce the trust she has placed in you, showing that you are someone she can rely on emotionally without being emotionally dependent yourself. Behavioral patterns make this clear. Does she share personal struggles or frustrations in a way that goes beyond surface-level conversation? Does she look for your reaction subtly, gauging your response before continuing? Does she return to these conversations over time, signaling that she feels safe confiding in you? All of these behaviors indicate trust and the recognition of your stable presence. Conversely, if she does not confide in you at all, or only shares trivial matters, it may indicate that you haven't yet established enough credibility and emotional security. Men often respond to this by trying to solve everything she says, offering advice unsolicited, or emotionally over-investing. This is a mistake. Trust grows when you listen, acknowledge her feelings, and maintain your own composure. You do not need to solve her problems. Your presence, calm judgment, and subtle validation are more valuable than any solution you could propose. Overreacting or becoming over-involved signals emotional instability and can erode the trust she has placed in you. Understanding that her sharing reflects trust allows you to approach these moments with clarity and control. You're not her therapist or her emotional crutch. You are a steady, composed presence she values. By observing patterns, maintaining boundaries, and responding thoughtfully, you cultivate deeper attraction, respect, and influence in the relationship. Trust is a currency, and her willingness to confide is a deposit that reflects the emotional value you hold in her life. In short, when a woman tells you her problems, she is signaling trust. Your response should reinforce that trust by maintaining composure, listening actively, and avoiding over-involvement. Recognizing this dynamic allows men to strengthen their value, attract deeper connection, and approach emotional situations with stoic confidence. 2. She wants emotional safety. When a woman shares her problems with you, it's a clear sign that she wants emotional safety. In the modern dating world, women are constantly evaluating men not only for attraction, but also for reliability, stability, and emotional resilience. Opening up about struggles or personal challenges is risky for her. It requires vulnerability. She is testing, consciously or unconsciously, whether you are capable of holding space for her without judgment, criticism, or overreaction. Men often misinterpret this as a cue to fix her problems, but the real need is much simpler. She wants to feel safe emotionally in your presence. Psychologically, emotional safety is one of the most attractive traits a man can offer. Women are wired to seek stability, consistency, and calm when sharing vulnerabilities. If a man reacts with panic, excessive sympathy, or defensiveness, he immediately undermines the sense of security she was seeking. Conversely, when a man listens, responds thoughtfully, and maintains emotional composure, he demonstrates strength, reliability, and confidence, qualities that increase her attraction and respect. Emotional safety is less about solving problems and more about showing that you are a steady presence she can rely on. Behavioral patterns reveal this need clearly. Does she lower her guard around you, revealing personal fears, insecurities, or frustrations? Does she continue confiding in you over time, indicating that she trusts your discretion and composure? Does she test your reactions subtly with difficult topics, gauging whether you can remain calm and grounded? These patterns signal that she values emotional stability and wants to know she can count on you without creating drama or chaos. Men often make the mistake of responding too quickly, offering advice, or trying to rescue her from her feelings. This approach may seem helpful, but it often signals over-involvement or neediness. Stoicism teaches that maintaining calm, listening, and observing without losing your emotional balance is the most powerful response. Your role is to create a safe environment, not to solve every problem or carry her emotional burden. Recognizing her need for emotional safety allows men to respond intentionally. When you provide a secure, composed presence, you become someone she not only trusts, but values deeply. Emotional safety strengthens connection, fosters attraction, and positions you as a man of influence who does not require validation or dramatics to maintain engagement. In short, when a woman shares her problems, she's signaling a desire for emotional safety. Your role is to maintain composure, listen attentively, and demonstrate that you can handle vulnerability without losing control. This builds trust, respect, and attraction, and positions you as a stoic presence she wants to engage with repeatedly. 3. She is testing your composure. When a woman opens up about her problems, one of the most subtle but powerful things she is doing is testing your composure. This isn't about manipulation. It's a natural instinct to evaluate whether a man can remain steady, confident, and emotionally resilient in the face of vulnerability. In modern dating, women are often guarded, and sharing personal struggles is a way to see if a man can handle reality without overreacting or losing his sense of self. How you respond reveals far more about your value than any words you could say. Psychologically, testing composure is rooted in attraction and security. Women are drawn to men who maintain calm in emotionally charged situations because it signals strength, confidence, and stability. A man who panics, becomes defensive, or tries to fix every problem appears emotionally dependent or reactive, which diminishes attraction. Conversely, a man who listens, acknowledges her feelings, and maintains equanimity demonstrates a rare form of emotional intelligence that women find highly attractive. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of mastering one's reactions. This is exactly the approach that elevates your presence in these moments. Behavioral patterns indicate whether this test is being conducted. Does she bring up difficult or sensitive topics to see how you respond? Does she express frustrations or insecurities and watch for your reaction before continuing? Does she gauge your patience, calmness, or ability to listen without judgment? These behaviors are subtle cues showing that she is assessing whether your presence provides security, stability, and emotional leadership. A man who maintains composure earns respect, deepens attraction, and becomes someone she trusts with more than casual details of her life. Many men make the mistake of interpreting this as a call to action, to solve her problem, argue for her perspective, or reassure excessively. This often signals insecurity or a lack of confidence. The Stoic approach is different. Observe, listen, and respond with calm clarity. You do not need to fix everything or provide endless emotional labor. Simply being steady and present communicates strength, reliability, and value. Understanding that she is testing your composure also reframes your mindset. Instead of feeling challenged or burdened, recognize this as an opportunity to demonstrate qualities that increase attraction and respect. Your ability to remain composed shows that you are self-sufficient, confident, and emotionally grounded, all traits women subconsciously seek in a partner. In short, when a woman shares her problems, part of what she is doing is testing your composure. How you respond, calmly, thoughtfully, and without overreacting, communicates strength, reliability, and value. Men who master this dynamic maintain attraction, cultivate trust, and position themselves as emotionally independent leaders in their relationships. 4. She wants to be heard, not fixed. One of the most important lessons men can learn when a woman shares her problems is this: she wants to be heard, not fixed. Modern dating is full of men who feel compelled to solve every problem a woman presents, believing that offering advice or solutions demonstrates competence or value. In reality, this approach often undermines attraction and emotional connection. When a woman shares her struggles, she is usually seeking acknowledgement, understanding, and validation of her feelings, not a step-by-step solution. Psychologically, women are wired to value emotional attunement and empathy in moments of vulnerability. Listening actively and acknowledging her experience signals that you respect her perspective and can maintain emotional balance, even when she expresses frustration, fear, or sadness. Offering unsolicited advice or rushing to fix things can convey neediness or insecurity, which diminishes your perceived value. Stoicism reinforces the principle that control over one's reactions is far more important than control over external events. Her problems are hers. Your role is to be a composed, steady presence, not a problem solver. Behavioral patterns highlight this clearly. Does she pause to gauge your reaction when sharing a difficulty? Does she seem satisfied or relieved when you listen attentively without immediately jumping to solutions? Does she return to confide in you over time, indicating that your presence, composure, and active listening are valuable to her? These behaviors indicate that being heard matters more than having the problem fixed. Conversely, if you dominate the conversation with advice or insist on resolving her struggles, it often leads to disengagement or reduced emotional intimacy. Men frequently misinterpret her openness as a call to action. They feel pressure to provide solutions, impress her with intellect, or demonstrate problem-solving ability. While this may seem logical, it undermines the natural trust and connection she has extended. True value lies in composure, patience, and the ability to reflect her feelings back without judgment or overreaction. By focusing on listening rather than fixing, you build respect, attraction, and influence. Recognizing that she wants to be heard also reframes your mindset. Instead of feeling burdened by her problems, you can see them as opportunities to demonstrate stability, empathy, and confidence. You are not responsible for changing her reality. You are responsible for maintaining your own composure while offering presence and emotional steadiness. In short, when a woman shares her problems, the primary need is to be heard and understood, not to be fixed. Men who listen, acknowledge, and respond calmly demonstrate emotional intelligence, composure, and value. This approach strengthens attraction, deepens trust, and positions you as a stoic, reliable presence in her life, qualities that naturally increase connection and respect. 5. She tests boundaries. When a woman shares her problems with you, one subtle aspect of her behavior is testing boundaries. This isn't malicious. It's a natural part of evaluating how much emotional space you occupy, how steady you remain, and whether you maintain self-respect while being present. In modern dating, women often measure a man's value through his reactions to vulnerability. By sharing challenges, frustrations, or personal struggles, she is observing how you handle emotional intensity, discomfort, or moments where she may be demanding attention or empathy. Psychologically, boundary testing is a way for women to assess emotional strength and composure. She wants to know if you can remain steady without being reactive, judgmental, or overly involved. Men who bend too easily, become defensive, or overextend themselves signal low value and dependency. Conversely, men who maintain calm, set limits where appropriate, and respond thoughtfully demonstrate confidence, reliability, and emotional intelligence. Stoicism teaches that external events, including someone else's emotional turbulence, should not disturb your inner peace. This is exactly what women are observing when they confide their problems, whether your presence adds stability or chaos. Behavioral patterns reveal boundary testing. Does she observe how long you engage before pulling back naturally? Does she gauge whether you become reactive or maintain composure when discussing sensitive issues? Does she occasionally escalate emotional intensity to see whether you remain grounded? These patterns show she is assessing your ability to remain confident, composed, and self-respecting even when her emotions are raw. Men who fail to recognize this often fall into the trap of overinvestment, trying to satisfy her emotional needs at the expense of their own stability. Many men mistakenly believe that meeting every emotional demand strengthens attraction. In reality, it can have the opposite effect. Women respect men who can hold space for them without losing themselves, who can listen, acknowledge feelings, and respond appropriately while maintaining their own composure. Setting subtle boundaries, like calmly redirecting the conversation, limiting over-involvement, or refusing to be drawn into drama, demonstrates maturity and value. Recognizing boundary testing allows men to navigate these interactions wisely. You can remain present and attentive without sacrificing self-respect or composure. This balance reinforces your value and positions you as someone capable of handling vulnerability without becoming dependent, anxious, or reactive. Women subconsciously interpret this as strength and stability, which naturally increases attraction and emotional connection. In short, when a woman shares her problems, she may be testing boundaries to gauge your emotional strength. Responding with composure, patience, and selective engagement demonstrates value, builds respect, and strengthens attraction. Recognizing this dynamic allows men to maintain stoic clarity, preserve self-respect, and cultivate relationships rooted in trust and genuine emotional presence. 6. She seeks connection, not approval. When a woman shares her problems with you, It's a strong signal that she wants connection, not approval. Many men misinterpret these moments, thinking that giving advice, validating decisions, or solving problems will increase their value. In reality, what she desires is presence, understanding, and emotional alignment, not judgment or validation. She wants to feel connected to you emotionally, to experience your steadiness and engagement, rather than hear a solution or approval of her choices. Psychologically, women are attracted to men who offer emotional stability and presence rather than dependency or constant reassurance. Stoicism teaches that external events and other people's emotions are outside your control. What matters is how you respond. When she opens up about struggles, your role is not to approve or correct, but to demonstrate calm composure and thoughtful engagement. By maintaining this balance, you provide a sense of security, emotional alignment, and connection, which strengthens attraction. Behavioral patterns indicate this need clearly. Does she speak openly without immediately seeking your judgment? Does she respond positively when you listen and acknowledge her feelings without pushing opinions or solutions? Does she return to confide in you over time, signaling that your presence itself is valued? These patterns show that she prioritizes emotional connection over validation or approval. Conversely, a woman who seeks constant affirmation or approval may indicate low confidence or emotional immaturity, which changes the dynamic entirely. Men often overcomplicate these moments by trying to impress her with advice, fix problems, or prove themselves right. This creates an imbalance, making them appear reactive, needy, or emotionally entangled. Instead, the Stoic approach is to remain calm, composed, and attentive while understanding that her problems are hers to navigate. Your value comes from your ability to hold your ground, provide presence, and maintain equilibrium without being pulled into drama or unnecessary problem solving. Recognizing that she seeks connection rather than approval reframes your approach. You stop overthinking every interaction and begin to respond in a way that demonstrates composure, empathy, and emotional intelligence. This positions you as a man of value, a stable presence who is capable of deep connection without dependency. Women subconsciously respect and are drawn to men who can maintain this balance as it signals leadership, strength, and maturity. In short, when a woman shares her problems, she is seeking connection, not approval. Listening, acknowledging her feelings, and maintaining composure allows you to provide emotional presence while preserving self-respect. Men who understand this principle demonstrate value, attract trust, and cultivate meaningful relationships where connection, respect, and admiration flow naturally. 7. She respects emotional strength. When a woman shares her problems with you, one of the most powerful dynamics at play is respect for emotional strength. In the modern dating world, women are subconsciously evaluating not just your attractiveness, but your ability to remain composed, confident, and self-reliant in the face of emotional complexity. Sharing her struggles allows her to see whether you can handle vulnerability without overreacting, losing control, or becoming needy. How you respond in these moments communicates far more about your value than any words or actions outside of these situations. Psychologically, emotional strength is a core component of attraction. Women are drawn to men who exhibit stability, patience, and composure because it signals reliability and leadership. When she reveals her problems, she is creating a scenario that tests these traits. Men who panic, overinvest, or try to fix every issue unintentionally undermine their own value. On the other hand, men who listen attentively, maintain calm, and respond thoughtfully demonstrate qualities that naturally increase respect, admiration, and attraction. Stoicism emphasizes mastery over one's emotions, not control over external events. And this is exactly the dynamic women are evaluating when they confide in you. behavioral patterns reveal this respect clearly. Does she observe how you respond before fully sharing? Does she continue confiding over time, signaling that your steady presence is appreciated and trusted? Does she seem more drawn to you after emotional exchanges, indicating that she values the composure and strength you exhibit? Conversely, if you react with anxiety, defensiveness, or over-involvement, she may subconsciously distance herself, signaling decreased attraction. Many men fail to recognize that respect is earned through presence, not problem-solving. Over-explaining, giving advice unnecessarily, or seeking to fix her issues often signals emotional dependence, which diminishes your value. True respect comes from demonstrating that you can engage with her struggles while remaining grounded, confident, and independent. This approach positions you as a man who is not only attractive but also emotionally capable, someone who inspires trust and admiration naturally. Understanding that she respects emotional strength allows you to navigate these moments strategically. You remain composed, present, and attentive without losing yourself to her emotional world. This creates a positive feedback loop. She feels safe sharing, admires your stability, and deepens emotional connection, while you maintain boundaries, self-respect, and stoic clarity. In short, when a woman shares her problems, she is testing and reinforcing her respect for your emotional strength. Men who listen, respond calmly, and maintain composure demonstrate reliability, maturity, and value. Recognizing this dynamic allows you to cultivate deeper connection, trust, and attraction while preserving self-respect and emotional independence, qualities that define a high-value man in the modern dating world. Men, understanding why a woman shares her problems with you is a game-changer in modern dating. This behavior isn't a request for advice, a test of intellect, or an invitation to over-involve yourself. It's a signal of trust, emotional evaluation, and a desire for connection. When a woman opens up, she is showing vulnerability, and how you respond defines your value, influence, and attraction in her eyes. Stoicism teaches that your power lies in mastering your reactions, remaining composed, and maintaining emotional independence. Exactly what she is observing when she confides in you. The 7 key insights are simple but powerful. She trusts you, seeks emotional safety, tests your composure, wants to be heard rather than fixed, tests boundaries, seeks connection, and respects emotional strength. Recognizing these patterns allows you to act deliberately, listening attentively, maintaining composure, and avoiding overreaction demonstrates stability and value. Men who fall into the trap of overinvesting, offering unsolicited advice, or becoming emotionally entangled risk diminishing their perceived worth and creating imbalance. By applying Stoic principles, you create a space where vulnerability is met with calmness, attention, and respect rather than anxiety, overcompensation, or drama. This approach increases attraction, strengthens trust, and positions you as a high-value man who can navigate emotional dynamics without losing himself. Women naturally respond to men who maintain this balance, deepening connection while preserving your independence. In short, when a woman shares her problems, it's a signal to listen, observe, and respond with composed presence. Understanding that trust, emotional safety, composure, and connection are at play allows you to handle these situations wisely, maintain self-respect, and cultivate meaningful relationships. Men who master this dynamic become magnets for genuine attraction, respect, and deep emotional engagement, all while preserving the confidence and clarity that define a truly high-value man.